The song plays. Something inside you shifts. A cold wave rises up the back of your neck. Your arms flush with goosebumps you didn't ask for. Your chest tightens. Your eyes sting. You are not sad. You are not afraid. You are just listening to sound. And your entire body has responded like something is about to happen. It's called Frisson, a French word. It means, roughly, a shiver. But that's just the name. That's not the answer. The answer is this. Your body just performed a survival reflex. The same one your ancestors used to survive the cold. The same one they used when something was watching them from the trees. And a piece of music you've heard 100 times just triggered it. That's the first thing you need to know. The second is worse. About half the people on Earth cannot feel this at all. They can hear the same song, they can enjoy it, they can even say it's beautiful, but their skin stays smooth, their spine stays still, nothing rises, nothing moves. For a long time, no one could explain why. Some scientists guessed it was mood, some guessed it was memory, some guessed it was training. All of them were wrong. In 2016, a graduate student had a different idea. He decided to look inside the brain itself. His name was Sachs. He gathered 20 people. Half of them said music gave them chills all the time. The other half said they had never felt it in their lives. Sachs put them in a scanner. He mapped the wiring in their brains. And what he found changed how we understood music forever. The people who felt chills had more connections, not more feelings, not more taste, more physical wiring, thicker bundles of nerve fibers, running between the part of the brain that hears music and the part of the brain that feels emotion. The people who felt chills had a highway between them. The people who didn't had a footpath. It wasn't about how much they loved music. It was about how their nervous system was built. To understand what happens when a song hits you, you have to slow it down to milliseconds. It starts in your ear. Tiny hairs bend to the pressure of the sound wave. They fire a signal. That signal races up the side of your brain to the auditory cortex. That's where sound becomes meaning, where noise becomes music. Then something unusual happens. The signal doesn't stop there. It jumps sideways, into the ancient part of your brain, the part that has nothing to do with music, the part that decides if you are safe or if you are about to die. This region is called the limbic system. It runs your survival instincts, fear, fight, freeze. And now a piece of music has just walked into it. The moment it does, a second system wakes up, the one that keeps you alive in emergencies. It's called the sympathetic nervous system. It doesn't ask your permission. It doesn't care that you're just sitting on a couch. It reacts as if a threat is present. Adrenaline releases. Your heart rate rises. Your pupils widen, your breathing sharpens, and then it reaches your skin. Every hair on your body sits in a tiny muscle. A muscle you cannot feel, a muscle you cannot control. It's called the erector pili. When the sympathetic nervous system fires, every one of those muscles contracts at once, and your body decides without asking to raise its hair. The result is goosebumps, but that's only half of what happened. Somewhere else in your brain, something else has just fired. A small structure buried deep inside. The reward center. The same one that lights up for food, for sex, for drugs. A song just triggered the same chemical. Dopamine. A flood of it. So now you understand what your body is doing. But that only makes the real question louder. Why? Why do you have a survival reflex tied to sound at all? A reflex is expensive. The body doesn't build one unless it saves your life. So this reflex must have saved theirs. Long before there was music, long before there was language, long before there were even people. The animal your ancestors used to be had fur, thick fur that could stand up on command. Because standing fur did two things. One, it trapped air against the skin, a layer of insulation between the body and the freezing world. When it got cold enough to kill, the fur rose to save it. Two, it made the animal look bigger. When a predator crept out of the dark, the fur rose to warn it off. Both responses were run by the same wiring, the same sympathetic nervous system that lives in you now. Somewhere along the way, humans lost most of the fur, but we never lost the muscles. We never lost the wiring. The system just kept running, waiting for the signal. Any signal. Cold air, and it fires. A sudden threat, and it fires. A moment of awe, and it fires. A memory that hits too hard, and it fires. And a specific pattern of sound. A pattern that mimics the ones your ancestors listened for. A wolf's howl. A human wailing across a valley. A rising tone that meant come here, or run. The brain still knows those signals, and music was built on top of them. Your brain is a prediction machine. It doesn't sit still, it's constantly guessing what comes next. Every second of every day. When you walk into a room, it predicts what you'll see. When someone talks, it predicts the next word. When you listen to a song, it predicts the next note. If the prediction is right, nothing happens. You feel nothing. You keep listening. But every great song does something specific. It sets up a pattern. It repeats it just enough for your brain to lock on, and then it breaks it. A single note higher than you expected. A voice cracking into a room that had been quiet. A chord that shouldn't work but does. The moment the pattern breaks correctly, your brain does something violent. It floods the reward system with dopamine. But at the same moment, it fires the survival system too, because that violation of pattern reads to the ancient brain as importance. Something just changed, something the body should be ready for. So the reflex fires, and you, in your room, holding a cup of tea, get goosebumps from a chorus. A tear rises in your eye. You have no idea why, but your body does. It thinks something is about to happen, something the ancestors would have run from, or run toward. The music just told your body a very old story. This is where it gets personal. If you feel chills from music, you have more of that wiring, between the part of your brain that hears and the part of your brain that feels. You also tend to be a specific kind of person. Researchers have found the trait consistently. It's called openness to experience. It means your mind runs a little wider than most. You pick up small changes in a room. You feel meaning in small details. You get lost in what you're doing. This is called absorption. It's not something you chose. It's how your nervous system was built. If you don't feel chills, it doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you feel less. Your nervous system was built for something else. Steadier, quieter, harder to shake. There is no better version. There are just two different circuits, two different bodies, listening to the same song, but only one of them is having their survival system quietly go off. So the next time a song rises, and your skin lifts, and your throat tightens, remember what it actually is, an old survival reflex, firing inside a modern body, for a piece of sound, that your ancestors would never have understood, but their bodies still remember. Subscribe if you have felt this feeling or sensation.